the family housewarming, my Aunt Mary 51 thought she was finally starting fresh. But halfway through the party her entire identity got stolen in front of everyone. Bank accounts, credit cards, even her medical records gone. The shocking twist, the sabotage wasn't random, it came from inside the family. What started as a cozy get-together turned into a dramatic showdown nobody expected. So I need to set the stage a bit. My Aunt Mary 51 just bought a new condo after her divorce. She invited all of us, me, my mom, my cousin Jason 27 and even my uncle's side of the family for a housewarming. Mary is the kind of person who loves hosting. She had candles burning, a big spread of food, even wine glasses that matched the kitchen tiles. She wanted it perfect. At first, it was great. We were eating, laughing. Jason was playing DJ with his phone hooked up to a Bluetooth speaker. Around 8 p.m, Mary pulled me aside and whispered, "Hey, can you keep an eye on my purse? I left my wallet on the counter, and I've had some weird emails lately." I brushed it off like, sure, no problem. I didn't think much of it until things got messy. About an hour later, Mary tried to order more pizza because the food was running out. She swiped her card on one of those delivery apps, and it got declined. She laughed nervously and said, "That's weird," then tried another card. Declined again. Jason joked, "Dang, Aunt Mary, what are you hiding from us?" But the tension was thick. Mary excused herself, went into her bedroom, and a few minutes later, I heard her raise her voice. Not screaming, but definitely panicked. I followed her in, and she was on the phone with her bank. The colour had drained from her face. She mouthed to me, "All my accounts are empty." Turns out, someone had accessed her bank accounts that same day, changed her login info, and transferred money out. Thousands. At this point, everyone could feel the shift. My mom asked if Mary was okay. Jason stopped the music, and people started leaving the kitchen to peek down the hallway. Mary hung up and came out looking pale. She said, "Someone's stolen my identity. They have my cards, my bank, even my medical logins. This isn't a joke." I swear you could hear a pin drop. Then came the worst part. She looked straight at Jason. "Jason, why were you on my laptop earlier?" Jason stammered, "What? I was just putting on music. I didn't touch your stuff." But Mary wasn't buying it. She said she'd seen him near her desk when he thought no one was watching. Jason got defensive immediately, yelling, "Why would I screw over my own aunt?" The room was thick with tension. My mom tried to calm them down, but Mary wasn't letting go. She said she'd been getting phishing emails for weeks and she thought it was random until she realized the recovery email for her accounts was one digit off from Jason's. That's when it hit everyone, this wasn't just some scammer. Someone in the family might have sabotaged her. And in that moment, the housewarming wasn't about celebrating Mary's new place anymore. It turned into an investigation. The vibe in the condo shifted from cozy family party to full-on interrogation. People weren't sipping wine anymore, they were whispering, side-eyeing each other, clutching their phones like they might be next. Mary sat down hard on the arm of the couch and said, "I need everyone to stay here until I figure this out." It sounded dramatic, but her voice was shaking. My mom muttered, "Mary, don't overreact," but Mary snapped back, "Overreact, my money's gone." Jason raised his hands like he was surrendering. "Look, I didn't touch anything. If you really think it was me, check my phone." He tossed it on the coffee table. I'll admit I leaned in with everyone else. Mary opened his phone, he gave her the code, scrolled through, and didn't find anything, but then she froze. "Why do you have my email pulled up in your browser?" Jason's face went bright red. "I swear I was helping you Logan last week when you forgot your password." Mary shot back, "That doesn't explain the recovery email being yours." That's when Jason's sister, my cousin Hannah 25, spoke up from the corner. "Actually, that does sound weird. Jason, you've been broke since you quit your job. You borrowed $200 from me last month and never paid it back." Jason turned on her. "Oh, shut up, Hannah. You're just mad I called you out for using Dad's Netflix password." The whole thing was spiraling. My mom stepped in, trying to cool it down. Let's not accuse people without proof. But Mary wasn't backing down. She grabbed her laptop from the bedroom, opened her bank account portal, and started reading off the recovery details. The email tied to the account was literally one character off from Jason's. Same numbers at the end, sent email formatting. Everyone was staring at him. Jason kept saying, "That's not me. Anyone could make a fake email that looks like mine." And honestly, he had a point. But then, Hannah whispered something that made everyone stop. "What about Uncle Tom?" Now, Uncle Tom, Mary's ex-brother-in-law, mid in his 50s, was in the kitchen nursing his fourth glass of wine. He hadn't said a word through all of this. Mary whipped around. "Why would you even bring him up?" Hannah shrugged nervously. "Because last month I saw him using your old laptop at Mom's house. He said he was just checking sports scores, but it had your account saved on it, right? You could have cut the tension with a knife." Everyone's eyes turned to Tom, who suddenly looked way too interested in his wine glass. Mary asked quietly, "Tom, did you have access to my old laptop?" He didn't answer at first. Then he muttered, "Yeah, but I didn't do anything. I was just browsing. Don't put this on me." Jason immediately jumped back in. "See, why are you all coming after me when he had her laptop?" It was chaos. People talking over each other, accusations flying. Mary slammed her laptop shut and said, "Enough, someone in this family sabotaged me, and I'm going to find out who tonight." The room went dead silent, because we all knew she meant it. After that moment, the housewarming completely fell apart. The upbeat chatter, laughter, and music were gone. Everyone just stood around, watching Mary. She looked a different, like the old confident aunt we knew had been replaced with someone calculating, sharp, and ready to expose every lie. Mary grabbed a chair and pulled it into the center of the living room. "Tom," she said, pointing at him with a trembling finger, "we need to talk now." Tom's face went pale. He tried to smile weakly. "Mary, come on, it's a party. We don't have to do this here." "No," she said firmly. "We do. Everyone stay. Jason, Hannah, Mom, this is important." I sank onto the couch, my heart racing. Even Jason looked nervous, though he kept pretending he wasn't. Mary turned to Tom again. "You had access to my old laptop. You had my accounts, my passwords, and suddenly, today, everything gets wiped out. Do you see the pattern?" Tom sputtered. I swear I didn't touch anything. I was just curious." Mary leaned closer, voice low but deadly. Curious is checking a sports score. Curious is not draining my accounts. changing my recovery emails, and stealing my identity. Curious is not what you did. The room was so silent I could hear Jason's gulp. My mom clutched her pearls like she was about to faint. Even Hannah, who usually jumped into stir drama, was quiet. Tom started pacing nervously. Okay, maybe I messed with one account, but it wasn't like I wanted to steal everything. I just wanted to see if I could. Mary's eyes narrowed. You wanted to see if you could. You're 55 years old, Tom. You couldn't even respect family enough to stay away from what isn't yours. You sabotaged me, my housewarming, my life. Then Jason, who had been quiet until now, finally said something. Mom said something earlier. Aunt Mary, did you check your security logs? Because if Tom really did it, there might be a timestamp. Mary whipped open her laptop and started scrolling. Yes, there, that's it. Look, access from Tom's home IP at 2:17 p.m. today. Tom's face went completely white. That's just a coincidence. Coincidence? Mary's voice cracked with fury. You manipulated everything to make it look like me messing up. You tried to ruin me on the first day I moved in here. You sabotaged my housewarming, and you almost got away with it. Hannah shook her head. I can't believe this. All this time, he was pretending to be friendly and... Mary took a deep breath, her hands shaking. Enough. I've called the bank and changed everything. The money will be recovered. But Tom, you're done. No more borrowing my stuff. No more friendly advice. Nothing. Tom slumped in the chair, defeated. I guess I screwed up. Mary, still shaking with anger, turned to the rest of us. And let this be a lesson. Family doesn't mean you can't be held accountable. I'm not letting anyone sabotage me again. Not tonight. Not ever. The rest of the night was quiet. People left one by one, murmuring apologies and awkward goodbyes. The housewarming had ended in ruin, but Mary had taken back control. For the first time that night, she looked relieved, even a little proud. The next morning, the condo felt different. The party was over, but the tension lingered like smoke. Mary was in the kitchen, making coffee, and I could see the exhaustion on her face. Her usually bright eyes were shadowed with stress and anger from the previous night. Jason walked in, hands in his pockets, looking guilty. Aunt Mary about last night. Mary didn't look at him. She poured herself a cup and sighed. Jason, it's not about you. Well, mostly, but I need everyone to understand something. This kind of sabotage, it's not just stealing money, it's stealing trust. It's trying to ruin someone's life, their sense of security, and I would allow it. Jason nodded slowly. I get that. I mean, I never touched anything, but seeing you like that, I feel awful. I just wish we could fix this without all the drama. Mary finally turned to him, a little softer. Look, I know you didn't do it, but this whole situation, it makes me realize how careful I need to be. You can't just trust someone blindly, even family. I could see her motherly side battling her anger. She wanted to forgive, but she also needed to protect herself. Hannah, who had been sitting on the couch with her phone, chimed in quietly. Maybe we should help her secure everything. Passwords, accounts, maybe even an ID theft protection service. Mary gave her a small nod. Yes, that's exactly what I need, and anyone who tries to cross me again, they'll regret it. Later that day, Mom called to check in. Mary, are you okay? How's the condo after last night? Mary laughed softly, a little tiredly. It's fine, the condo's fine, me, and a little shaken, but stronger. I never thought I'd deal with identity theft from someone I knew personally. It hurts more than I thought, but I've got backups now. New passwords, new bank accounts, everything, no more surprises. Jason and Hannah helped her set up extra security on her laptop and phones. Even though the trust in the family was fractured, they were genuinely trying to support her. It was strange after such a dramatic, almost cinematic confrontation. The housewarming had become a sort of turning point. The family had seen a side of Mary that was fearless when cornered. They had seen her demand accountability, and they couldn't ignore it. By evening, Mary was sitting in her new living room, drinking a glass of wine, looking around at her carefully decorated condo. It wasn't perfect, not after the chaos, but it was hers. She'd survived sabotage, betrayal, and the humiliation of having her identity stolen, and she'd come out in control. She caught my eye and smirked. You know, if anyone ever tries this again, I'm ready. And for the first time that week, I believed her. Mary had always been resilient, but last night had transformed her into something sharper, smarter, and unshakable. The housewarming had been ruined, yes, but it had also revealed who she really was, untouchable when she decided to be. Even the family had to admit she had won. The following week felt like a strange mix of normal life and heightened vigilance. Mary wasn't letting anyone near her accounts without supervision. She had changed passwords on every email, banking, and even social media account. Two-factor authentication became her new obsession, and every time someone came over, she made them check in before using any device. Jason tried to joke about it. Aunt Mary, you're acting like a spy. Should we start calling you Agent Mary? She shot him a look that would make a drill sergeant flinch. Jason, if anyone tries pulling something like that again, I will catch them before they blink. Consider this training. Hannah helped her go through her old files, making sure nothing suspicious had been left behind. You know, I never realized how much personal info we leave lying around, she said, holding up a stack of papers and old laptops. Mary nodded gravely. It's scary. I trusted people who shouldn't have had access, but we're fixing that now. Even Mom stepped in, taking a hard stance. Mary, I know family is complicated, but don't let anyone's betrayal make you paranoid forever. You've done the right thing. You're protected now. Despite the chaos, Mary started to relax a little. She even allowed herself to laugh when Jason tripped over a cable while trying to set up her new router. Careful, Agent Jason, she teased, and we all laughed. But there was still tension. Every family dinner, every casual call, Mary's eyes flicked to see if someone was trying to pry or manipulate. She kept a mental note of everything suspicious. Even small inconsistencies in people's stories made her pause. One evening, she invited just me and Hannah over to her living room. I've realized something, she said, sipping tea. It's not just about stolen money or accounts, it's about trust, and I need to rebuild this slowly, carefully. Not everyone gets a second chance, but some do if they prove themselves. I nodded. Like Jason, he didn't do it, right? Mary smiled faintly. Right, and you'll have to earn my full trust again, but I'm not shutting people out completely. I just know who I am, and I know what I can handle now. That night, as I left her condo, I noticed how different it felt. The space that had once been the scene of chaos now radiated calm. Mary had reclaimed it, and in a way, she had reclaimed herself. The housewarming disaster had turned into a lesson in resilience, vigilance, and the raw reality of family dynamics. Even Tom, surprisingly, had reached out later that week with a stammering apology. Mary didn't answer immediately. When she finally did, it was firm but composed. "I accept your apology, but that doesn't erase what happened. You need to reflect on your actions before you can be trusted again." It wasn't vindictive, it was boundary setting. And it showed everyone that Mary wasn't just reactive, she was decisive, strong, and unshakable. By the time I left, I realized something important. Mary's housewarming might have been ruined, but her identity, her security, and her dignity were fully restored. And no one, not even family, was going to sabotage that again. A few days later, Mary decided it was time to host a small, controlled gathering. Just a handful of family members she trusted, to celebrate her new condo properly without chaos this time. The atmosphere was different from the original housewarming. Calm, measured, and full of purpose. Jason and Hannah were there helping with setup. No wild parties this time, Mary said, placing candles carefully on the dining table. "We're celebrating, not competing." Even Mom joined in, a little hesitant, but supportive. "Mary, it's good to see you taking control. You're glowing, in a way." Mary smiled, though it wasn't the bright, carefree smile of a week ago. This was sharper, more guarded. I had to take back what was mine, my space, my accounts, my identity. That chaos taught me something. During the small party, Tom showed up holding a gift awkwardly. He didn't try to act casual, he looked nervous, ashamed. Mary didn't greet him warmly, but she didn't ignore him either. She set the gift aside. "I wanted to apologize again," Tom said, voice low. "I messed up. I shouldn't have done what I did. I understand if you never trust me again." Mary nodded, keeping her distance. "Acknowledgement is the first step. Now, it's on you to prove you've learned something. I've restored everything, but any attempt at sabotage, even minor, and there won't be a second conversation." He nodded, swallowing hard. "I get it. I mean it." Mary turned back to the others and raised her glass. "To a fresh start," she said. The small group echoed her toast, and for a moment it felt like the celebration she had originally planned, but tempered with caution and awareness. Over the next hour, the conversation shifted to lighter topics. Jason made a playlist, Hannah shared funny stories from college, Mom brought out dessert. There was laughter, but it was careful, measured like everyone was aware of the fragility of trust. Mary watched it all, proud but reflective. She knew that even after forgiveness, some wounds take time to heal. But she also knew she had regained control. The sabotage that had threatened her identity and peace had been exposed and addressed. Later, as people started leaving, Mary and I stayed behind. She looked around at her condo, still spotless after the minor chaos. "You know," she said softly, "I almost didn't think I'd feel safe here again, but I do. I've learned to protect myself, and I've seen who really cares. That's worth more than any stolen account or messed up party." I nodded, realizing how much stronger she had become. The drama hadn't just been about stolen identity, it had been about boundaries, accountability, and resilience. Mary smiled faintly. "Next time we do a party, it'll be my rules, and anyone who crosses the line will know I mean business." And that was the final shift. The housewarming disaster had become a story of triumph. Mary's life, her condo, and her sense of security were fully reclaimed. Family dynamics were tested, but boundaries were set, and respect was earned. She was unshakable. By the end of the week, Mary's condo finally felt like home again. The chaos of the first housewarming had faded, replaced by calm and control. She'd gone through every detail, new passwords, security alerts, and even identity monitoring services. Every trace of vulnerability was addressed. Mary sat on the couch with a cup of tea, reflecting. "It's strange," she said quietly. "I thought a housewarming was just a party. Turns out it was a test of family, trust, and my own boundaries." I nodded. "And you passed with flying colours." She smiled, not the carefree smile from before, but one of quiet satisfaction. "I did. I reclaimed my life, my space, and my identity, and I've learned something crucial. Boundaries aren't just rules, they are shields. Without them, people can take advantage, even family." Jason chimed in, looking thoughtful. "I guess we all learned something too. Trust isn't automatic. You have to earn it and respect it." Mary nodded. "Exactly. And now, anyone who wants to be part of my life has to understand that. If they try to sabotage me, it won't just hurt me, it will destroy the credibility too." Even Hannah spoke softly. "It's a bit scary, but it makes sense. Seeing how quickly things escalated, it makes me want to be more careful with my own stuff too." Mary chuckled lightly. "See, not only am I safe now, but I've also educated my family." We spent the afternoon reorganizing a few things in her condo, photos, decorations, even the furniture layout. Every action felt deliberate, a small reclaiming of control. By the time the sun set, Mary's condo didn't just feel safe, it felt hers. Mom popped in for a quick visit. "Mary, you handled that impressively. I was worried for you, but I see now you've grown even stronger." Mary smiled warmly. "Thanks, Mom. The important part is, I won't be caught off guard again, and I've learned to forgive cautiously, but never blindly. Family isn't perfect, and neither am I, but we can all do better." Later that night, as the house quieted, Mary and I sat by the window, watching the city lights twinkle. "You know," she said, "this whole stolen identity nightmare, it felt like the end of a chapter, but really, it's the start of a stronger one. I finally know my limits and how far I'll go to protect myself." I realized then that the housewarming disaster had done more than reveal betrayal. It had showcased resilience, accountability, and personal growth. Mary had taken a traumatic situation, faced it head-on, and emerged victorious. Even after the drama, the argument, and the near collapse of family trust, Mary's story ended on her terms. The sabotage had failed, the family had witnessed her strength, and she had reclaimed her home, her identity, and her dignity. As I left her condo, I felt inspired. Mary wasn't just my end, she was a force. And if anyone ever tried to cross her again, they'd know exactly what it meant to face someone who refused to be broken. The housewarming was over, but Mary's triumph and the lessons learned would linger forever.